Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, we are 70 days away from the 2026 Daytona 500. Whew, still got a lot to happen in 70 days, but we've had a lot happen so far in the off season. We still haven't got the announcement of what the, playoff, what the points format's going to be for next year. Still waiting on that. I think it depends on the lawsuit. I think if NASCAR wins the lawsuit, we have that 3-3-4 format in the playoffs or a chase playoffs. I think if the teams win the lawsuit, we have no playoffs. I think that's going to result on whatever happens. But we should have a good week on that this week and some updates and some news. But we'll talk about each day a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep dive into it. I don't read everything. I just clip note it. I get what the teams are after. I don't know if the fact that NASCAR won't let NASCAR cars race another series makes it a monopoly, because they never have, and this has never been a deal breaker before. So I don't know where we come with this. You don't want a NASCAR stock car being able to race on a Saturday night at Langley. Why would you do that? Because it's a $300,000 machine. But, we'll see what happens. But, we're going to stick to stats and stuff. 70 days away, car number 70. Here we go. 760 starts for the car number 70, 14 top 5s, 118 top 10s, 1 pole. The first race was February 5th, 1950. The last race was November 8th, 2009. 37 different drivers have driven the number 70. Chevrolet 369 times, Pontiac 204, Buick 98, 57 Ford, 48 Mercury, 5 Oldsmobile, 5 Plymouth, 2 Dodge, a Hudson, a Kaiser, and a Nash. The late J.D. McDuffie, most starts in the car number 70, 624. We know he lost his life in an accident there at Watkins Glen. That's probably why we had the bus stop on the backstretch. 12 top 5s in his career, 103 top 10s, average finish 19.9. Johnny Sauter, 44 starts, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, average finish 28.1. Jim Parsley, 11 starts, 5 top 10s, average finish 13.7. Tony Raines, 10 starts, average finish 29.1. Elmo Henderson, 8 starts, average finish 26.9. Joe Eubanks, 7 starts, 1 top 10, average finish 22.1. Now, like I've said before, these stats are not all-inclusive. These stats are only for these drivers in the car number we're talking about, in this case, car number 70. It is not an all-inclusive list. Again, 37 different drivers have driven the number 70 in the Cup Series. We only talked about 6. Xfinity Series, 49 different drivers across 389 races, 4 top 5s, 12 top 10s. First race was April 3rd, 1982. Last race was November 1st, 2025. Derek Cope, 80 starts, average finish 31.8. Shelby Howard, 43 starts, average finish 23.3. Mark Green, 42 starts, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, average finish 25.6. Joanna Long, 41 starts, average finish 23.5. Dale Fleschlin, 18 starts, average finish 27.4. Leland Honeyman Jr., 17 starts, 2 top 10s, average finish 24.2. Bosco Lowe, 14 starts, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, average finish 17.6. In the Truck Series, 11 drivers, 23 races. First race was October 7th, 1995. Last race was August 8th, 2025. Jeff Agnew, 6 starts, average finish 25.3. Joe Buford, 3 starts, average finish 24.3. Andy Ponstein, 2 starts, average finish 23.0. GT Tallis, 2 starts, average finish 28.0. And Brian Ross, 2 starts, average finish 28.5. One reason that I started doing these countdowns and some of the other off-season videos I'm doing for NASCAR is if you listen to XM NASCAR Radio, you hear Dave Moody in Speedway. On Thursdays, he does his Unfiltered Legend series. He talks to some of the people that, made the sport to what it is today. Either be track owners, former track owners, drivers, former drivers, crew chiefs, car owners, etc. And his very last question is, none of us make it off this earth alive. Someday we're all going to be gone. how do you want to be remembered? And, you know, they all talked about different this, that, and the other. And one today was Shane Meal, which was pretty interesting to listen to. But the one I go back to is Richard Petty, the king. You know, the greatest NASCAR driver in the history of the sport. The guy who built this sport, you know, 4 generations of his family built this sport from day one through today, involved in it some way or another. His response to that question, I just want to be remembered. I'm like, there is a ton of drivers that we don't talk about. They're not champions. Maybe they didn't win a race. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't have anything important that they did for NASCAR. They were just part of the circus of NASCAR. They deserve to be remembered too. And so by doing this, we bring up the J.D. McDuffies of the world, the Elmo Henderson, the Joe Eubanks, guys who had a spot in this sport that maybe wasn't elite as some other ones, but without them being in the sport, who knows if they, you know, if they weren't there, their impact wouldn't have been felt, you know. So it's like going through this and reading some of these names, it's like, I can remember this, I can remember this driver, you know. When I first went to write this at car number 70, okay, cool. Who drove car 70? I pulled up, I'm like, oh yeah, J.D. McDuffie. And it wasn't what I would think about, you know. Think about like 71, Dave Marcus, you know, 52, Jimmy Means, you know, 57, Hud Strickland, you know. There's certain ones from my infancy of a NASCAR fan in the late 80s that popped in mind like that, and there's other ones that's like, I go blank. So it's kind of cool to kind of refresh it with myself, and kind of look at some of the history of the sport. And I love looking history stuff up. That's why when I did the Mount Rushmore of personalities called into TMD last week, Carl Keycaver came out. I've actually called in NASCAR Radio, I think twice now, and talked about Carl Keycaver. So yeah, I mean, gotta, you know, the history of the sport. Thank Dale Jr. for that. For a lot of speedways, made me really want to look up history and learn. But anyway, we are 70 days away from the Great American Race. Tomorrow's number 69. We're going to keep plugging along until we get to Daytona and preview the 2026 season, which, for everybody to chill about this lawsuit, we will have a 2026 season. I'm confident. 27 beyond, we don't know what it's going to look like. But 26 we will definitely have. With or without playoffs. I'm pro playoff. Some of you aren't. We'll see what happens. Check on the lawsuit. That might answer your question. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.